What if I told you that the creatine gummy scandal is not necessarily intentional from the manufacturer's side? And what if I told you that the real issue could be the consumer? Let's talk about the real issues. So by now you've probably seen and heard of this creatine gummy scandal or scam going on where lab tests are showing zero to little creatine inside each gummy. Now, this is an obvious issue, right? That should not happen. There should be whatever is claiming on the product should be in the product. Now, it can be quite frustrating when trying to buy supplements, as it's probably making us question every product we buy by now, right? We're thinking about everything, not just the gummies, because if the gummies aren't testing right, well, what else isn't testing right? Could be a lot of things. So this is a frustrating issue, and it's a good thing to talk about. However, as someone with over 10 years of supplement manufacturing experience, I did a little bit of digging and was able to find out some pretty important details. First thing is it's actually very hard to put creatine into a gummy and get it to stay there and stay active. I spoke to one of my gummy manufacturers, as I used to be in the space. I was in the hemp gummy space. I had a hemp gummy brand that I no longer have, and I'm no longer a partner in. And they explained to me that it's actually not easy to get creatine into a gummy. Something during the process of cooking the gummies, you actually cook the creatine off the gummy, basically eliminate it. Even though you put it in there, when you're manufacturing the gummy itself, there's a point where you actually are getting rid of the creatine on accident. So this is more of a skill issue when it comes to manufacturing. I don't believe that every single gummy brand, gummy manufacturer did this intentionally, although I do believe some did for sure. But somewhere in the middle, there's more of a skill issue where they didn't know how to manufacture creatine gummies properly. However, my manufacturers did end up figuring it out, but I'm not sure if they ever proceeded with making creatine gummies as one of their SKUs that they offer their clients. So I don't know if any brands are being made from them. So I can't really direct you to a legit good creatine gummy because I'm not sure if they ended up making it. I'm not sure. But that also leads to my second and main point of this video. I don't have a brand or a person or whoever I can recommend you to go buy good creatine gummies from because we don't need creatine gummies. We don't. Creatine gummies are a complete overpriced, overhyped product that is a complete waste of money. If a consumer thinks buying a $70 bag of creatine gummies just to get 20 to 35 total 5 gram servings, 20 to 30 total 5 gram servings, right, is worth it, then they deserve to get scammed because they're already getting scammed. Even if the creatine is in there, they're getting scammed. I bought a tub of creatine 5 years ago for like $30 or $35, and I still have it in my supplement cabinet today. I still have it. When I want to take creatine before my workout, I take a scoop, a 5 gram scoop, I throw it in my mouth, I swish some water, and I swallow it, and it's done. It has no taste, requires no mixing, none of that. Just throw it in your mouth, swish it around with some water, and swallow. And that's it. The fact that products like creatine gummies are selling speaks more about the consumer rather than the manufacturers. Because as a manufacturer, or when I was one, I can speak personally on this, that you will not manufacture something continuously that the consumer will not buy. So if the consumer keeps buying it, well, they're going to keep manufacturing it. It's that simple. So it's really not on them. It's really on the consumer. That's my main point here. The consumer needs to stop buying things like creatine gummies. Bottom line, guys, stop buying creatine gummies and just buy a lifetime supply for $100 on bulksupplements.com or wherever. You don't need creatine gummies. There is zero value add to putting creatine into a gummy. All it's doing is increasing the price by 100x or more while providing zero upside or zero value add whatsoever. It's just increasing the price for no reason. If you like gummies that bad, just go get your favorite gummies from the store, get some creatine, put the creatine in your mouth, put the gummies in your mouth, and chew. Why do you need to spend that much money on creatine gummies? I have yet to find an affordable creatine gummy. It doesn't exist because I know how much it costs to manufacture gummies. You can't make it cheap. Stop buying creatine gummies, please. In fact, let's stop buying almost all gummies, for that matter, when it comes to supplements. The only type of supplement, I think, if you want to call it a supplement, that gummies should be used for is what I was involved in, which was hemp gummies. The reason why cannabis, hemp, CBD, all that stuff, THC, used gummies as edibles is because they were very small and easy to dose. You can easily figure out what a dose is by putting a simple dose into a gummy, and you want to be able to measure that because those are very dose dependent products. If you take too much, you all know what happens if you take too much of an edible, right? So if you just have this giant edible, it's harder to dose. So gummies was a perfect option because you could say, hey, this tiny square, this tiny gummy has this many milligrams of this in it. So now you're not eating them like a snack because that would overdose them clearly. So it actually makes sense for that industry, because it is technically, you could say, a drug. It's almost the same thing. It's a way to take it in a safe form edibly. And it requires the baking process to activate the THC and the CBD, which is what freaking making gummies is. You're baking it basically, right? So it actually makes sense. With everything else, it does not make any sense at all. And it especially does not make any sense with creatine. Stop.